Now, everyone knew for at least the last generation that King Charles was never really going to reign for a long period of time. His mother, Queen Elizabeth II, was the longest reigning monarch in British history and I believe in world history. Her achievements really cannot be matched in that regard. What is surprising, though, is this news that has come relatively short in his reign. An announcement from Buckingham Palace earlier today. During the King's recent hospital procedure for benign prostate enlargement, a separate issue of concern was noted. Subsequent diagnostic tests have identified a form of cancer. His Majesty has today commenced a schedule of regular treatments, during which time he has been advised by his doctors to postpone public facing duties. Throughout this period, His Majesty will continue to undertake state business and official paperwork as usual. The King is grateful to his medical team for their swift intervention, which was made possible thanks to his recent hospital procedure. He remains wholly positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible. His Majesty has chosen to share his diagnosis to prevent speculation in the hope that it may assist public understanding for all of those around the world who are affected by cancer. And that's the end of the statement. Now, it's interesting. Now, of course, they have to say something positive like this that, he's looking forward to returning to full duties, public facing duty as soon as possible. So, my thinking is really this Wingnut, he's 75 years old now, and he's not really going to have many years ahead of him, even if he is of full health. So, his reign is already going to be quite short. I will bring you back before I read this article to a video I made a little while ago about abdication rumors. Uh, there were some rumors swirling around that King Charles was going to abdicate the throne, or at least there was, what was it? King Charles calls emergency meeting with William Kate amid abdication rumors. And I have the article here. King Charles calls emergency meeting with William Kate amid abdication rumors. This was on January 2nd, 2024. King Charles has reportedly decided to abdicate to his eldest son. This story really didn't seem to go anywhere. It was right in the wake of Queen Margaret of Denmark's footsteps, who stepped down as the monarch on January 14. So the 75-year-old monarch has summoned a meeting with the Prince and Princess of Wales to discuss the future of the monarchy, an insider had claimed. The king, who's caretaker of the throne for his eldest son, will ask William and Kate to prepare for their future roles. Now, I believe this has come in the wake of bad health, and I think Wingnut here, he knew that he was in bad health.
Tom, I think this has all happened pretty quickly, and that says to me this has come as a big shock. And the royal family already reeling from the deaths of Prince Philip, from Her Majesty the Queen, from the double health blow that we had several weeks ago of Charles and Kate, and now this, that our new monarch has cancer.
Well, it does come as a shock, but on the other hand, I must tell you that before Christmas, a neighbour of his in Highgrove, did tell me that the king wasn't well, and also warned that Queen Camilla is not perfect health either. So I think that although it seems like it's a great shock tonight to us, I think this has been coming for some time.
Let's have a quick look at the New York Times article. King Charles is diagnosed with cancer. Buckingham Palace did not specify the type of cancer, but said Britain's monarch would postpone his public engagements during his treatment, which is interesting, isn't it? Because he said right here in the official statement from Buckingham Palace, His Majesty has chosen to share his diagnosis to prevent speculation and in the hope that it may assist public understanding for all those around the world who are affected by cancer. Interesting. Um, I'm not really sure how much it would help giving us these extra details of what part of the anatomy is cancerous. I'm not really sure if I really want to know. I think I think the writing is really just on the wall for His Majesty, if I may say. After all, he is the King of Australia. And I'm trying to keep this video as polite as possible. I don't have high opinions of the monarchical system. I had a great deep amount of respect for the late Queen Elizabeth II. I don't hold that same respect for Wingnut here, and I believe it's a mutual feeling. He went to high school here in Australia for a brief amount of time, and his diaries have been uncovered since then, and he was writing really, really awful things about about our country and the people here. It's just not a place that he overly enjoyed. I believe it was a place that his mother loved dearly. But anyway, that's besides the point. Let's read a little bit of this. King Charles III has been diagnosed with cancer and is suspending his public engagements to undergo treatment, casting a shadow over a busy reign that began less than 18 months ago after the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. The announcement made by Buckingham Palace on Monday evening came a week after the 75-year-old sovereign was discharged from a London hospital following a procedure to treat an enlarged prostate. The palace did not disclose what form of cancer Charles has, but a palace official said it was not prostate cancer. The doctors detected the cancer during that procedure, and the king began treatment on Monday. Um, Kind of almost sounds like it was prostate cancer, but regardless, he's on his way out. It may seem a little dramatic for me to put in the thumbnail, "The king is dying," but really, what else is this? He's a 75-year-old man with cancer. Prognosis is not great. Um, News of Charles' diagnosis reverberated through Britain, which, after 7 decades of Elizabeth's reign, has begun to get comfortable with her son. Charles waited longer to ascend the throne than anyone in history of British monarchy, and he was a familiar figure with a personal life relentlessly dissected by the British media by the time he became the sovereign. It's true, there was a lot of drama around him and Princess Diana, a very beloved figure, that really polarized not just Britain but the world, really, around him and around him and Camilla and Diana, and of course her two young children at the time. I remember that day vividly. I was very young, but it's one of those moments in life that you remember, kind of like 9/11 or the JFK thing. If you were alive for those moments, it's really one of those things that stops the world. Um, and anyway, I remember it was back in August 31st, 1997. I remember the day. Anyway, as king, however, Charles has become a confident elder statesman. Okay, putting a subtle but unmistakable stamp on the monarchy. He has traveled widely and spoken out on issues like climate change that have long been important to him. Yeah, now this is an area that he was supposed to stay away from when he became sovereign. It's They are not supposed to meddle in politics. There is a specific separation. That's why they appoint a government, so that they are not to do anything in that role. Although we all know they have a thing called king's consent. They sign off on things. They are the executive. He is actually the sovereign of my country and all the Commonwealth countries. So yeah, I mean, it's not an entirely ceremonial role. I think there's a bit of a lie that people really fall trap to. Anxiety for Charles is mixed with hope that he would recover swiftly, but in the absence of details about his condition, there was inevitably speculation as royal watchers parsed the palace's 4-paragraph announcement. Yeah, I mean, I think again, the writing is on the wall. Just like when the Queen was going in for her late stage illness, the writing was really on the wall. We knew that it was going to happen. In fact, I even called it months before any announcements were made. I think if you go back through my Twitter feed, you will find at some stage, like a few months earlier, than I just had the feeling she was going to go soon. And she did. During the King's recent hospital procedure for benign prostate enlargement, a separate issue of concern was noted, the palace said. Subsequent diagnostic tests have identified a form of cancer. His Majesty today has commenced a schedule of regular treatments, during which time he has been advised by doctors to postpone public-facing duties. Palace officials said the king would continue to carry out other duties, including his weekly meeting with the Prime Minister, as well as the daily pile of paperwork he completes as Britain's head of state. Officials said there were no plans to appoint councillors of state to act in his place, a procedure that could signal the sovereign was unable to fulfill his duties because of illness. This is interesting because I believe this will be coming soon. As his treatment and condition progresses, he's going to become much more frail. His schedule is going to become much thinner. He is going to become much thinner. It's going to be very apparent that he's unable to perform his duties, as they call them. The palace said Charles remains wholly positive about his treatment and that he looked forward to resuming public engagements. He returned to London from his country residence, Sandringham, to begin treatment as an outpatient, palace officials said. Well, look, I just think, yeah, it's over for you, Ignat. I think he's kind of resigned to it himself as well. I mean, wouldn't you at this age? And given the life that he had led, it's sort of in a way, I know people resent these people for all their opulence, but at the same time, they're born into a system that is very unforgiving and very demanding. And I don't know. I don't want this to be a totally hateful video. The man's just been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about that. Anyway, I think I'll cut the video off here, guys. Thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up below if you enjoyed this. I have a great one-on-one interview with Patrick Scott Armstrong from Vetted Podcast that is due to premiere on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern US time. I hope to see you there, and I will see you again next time.